Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everyone. We're here with a brand new week here on the Cabral Concept. Can't wait to get started with today's show. You know, each and every Monday, we start with a Mindset and Motivation Monday. And the reason why I've done this now for over 5 years, every single Monday, well over 300 shows in Mindset and Motivation, is because it does not matter if you have the absolute best wellness plan, body transformation plan, weight loss, weight gain, you name it, doesn't matter. Or the best spirituality plan, or the plan, the coaching, everything you need in order to find that right relationship for you. The same goes for spirituality. The same goes for a career. You can have the very best career coach, business coach, whatever it might be. None of that matters if you are not able to get into the right mindset in order to actually implement that plan. And even if you implement the plan, are you in the right headspace in order to be able to hold on to those results, to not reset back to whatever your comfort zone is? So that's why I make sure that we keep these Mindset and Motivation Mondays going. And remember, there are 300 past shows. I will link up the category at stephencabral.com/2131. But you know that on iTunes or at stephencabral.com/podcast, you can go to that specific category anytime you want. So this is something that I think some days we need it more than others. And again, I want these shows and past shows to be there for you. These are evergreen shows, which means that you can listen to today's show 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's not going to matter, because I learned a lot of this material 20 years ago. I was very fortunate to, for whatever reason, I did whatever I needed to in school. I wanted to make sure I got good grades. I wanted to make sure that, I made my parents happy, all of those things. But at the same time, I did whatever I needed to. When I was at school, I was reading all sorts of other books that had really nothing to do with my specific education, but really what I wanted to learn. And then, of course, 22 years old, I graduate undergrad. And what am I studying? All day long, nutrition, exercise, physiology. I'm starting to study functional medicine, anti-inflammatory diet plans. Then I get into integrative health and functional medicine, and it's what I love. And then I read hundreds of books on that. And then I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with all of this information? And then I start reading self-improvement books and self-development books and spirituality books. And then I said, okay, now I get it. I have this education that I've gotten from thousands of books from brilliant authors from all over the world, and some who lived hundreds of years ago, some thousands of years ago, like in Ayurvedic medicine. And then I read all of these people over the last 100 years and sometimes longer. I mean, sometimes people that lived in the 1800s, and they have these systems for learning and systems for taking action. So that is what's allowed me now to say, okay, I have a love for learning. I have a love for health, but I also want to be able to actually systematize this and get it out there to the world, because if it's too confusing, it doesn't matter if it works or not. It's not going to be able to be implemented. People can't take action on it. If they can't take action on it, there's no way they're getting results. So just like you, again, you have a passion for something. You want to do something. You want to improve your body, improve your mindset, your relationships, your career, your finances, your health, whatever it might be. And all I can say is this, is that you can make it happen, because the drive is there, the fire is there to want to do it, but in maybe some way you don't actually believe you can make it happen. And that's a problem for a lot of us. I mean, trust me, I've been there, but that's why I started doing the self-improvement work, the self-development work. And I still read books to this day. I feel like I'm good now, but I can always be better. But I didn't feel like I was always good. I didn't feel I was good to that place for maybe like 5 years of reading this and going into this. But that's, of course, because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have someone sharing me kind of the step-by-step plan. So what I would say to you is this: I've shared lots of books over the years, lots of different step-by-step plans, but really over the next month, okay, so 4 to 6 weeks, definitely tune in, because I'm going to make this, I love saying brass tacks. It's kind of a word that I heard once and I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. Like I want to be very brass tacks, and I am a brass tacks kind of individual, kind of guy. And the reason I say that is that I like to just help people accomplish whatever it is they want to accomplish. That's what I enjoy doing. So I'm very direct and very to the point, sometimes to a fault. I am, but it's because I don't want to mix words. There's so much like, oh, well, is the person saying this or saying this? I tell you directly, this is what I've done for 25 years. This is what I used to do. Didn't work as well. This, hey, it worked a little bit better. This is what we've been doing for the last 10 years, and it works better than anything we've ever seen. And we'll make tweaks and updates whenever we need to. But this is it. We know what works. Like we literally, when it comes to health, when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to longevity, anti-aging, we know it works, right? We know the system. We know how to find out a person's bioindividuality, and then we implement that, right? But that can be done for anything, right? Absolutely anything in your life. Honestly, it can be done for spirituality, relationships, career, finances, you name it. It can be done because what you're doing is you're figuring out what's always worked since basically the beginning of time. And then finance is obviously a little bit different, but what's worked for the last couple hundred years? Okay, how do we implement that? How do we put systems in place? And then how do we follow through? That's what I want to share with you here today. So let's get into it. So here's the thing. A lot of procrastination. I talked about procrastination and how to end procrastination. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Yes, on episode 2117. Okay. So if you want to check out that show, go to stephencabral.com/2117. I love that show. I teach it in IHP Mastery, and it has to do with something called positive future projecting and negative future projecting. If you've never heard about this, it's a game changer because a lot of people teach positive future projecting, but it doesn't work for everyone, okay? It's oftentimes doesn't work very well for me. For whatever reason, my pitta-based mindset, I respond better to negative future projecting. I want to move away from that which I don't want, all right? So definitely check out that show if you need a little bit of boost to end procrastination. Now, today, though, what are we going to talk about? These to-do lists. Remember, I am someone that has a million to-do lists. I've carried around cards in my pocket. I've used apps in my phone. I've created all sorts of different systems and spreadsheets. And at the end of the day, I don't always get everything done that I need to on my to-do list. And here's why. The to-do list doesn't have a deadline. It really doesn't. It's today's to-do list, but you know what I used to do? I would just transfer it to tomorrow. I didn't finish by the end of the week. All right, that's going on next week as well. So here's the thing. Things didn't always get done. Then I learned from all sorts of different, again, self-improvement based people as well. Robert Allen is one of them. Get things done, all these things. Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all these great individuals that I've talked about in the past. What are they saying? Okay, well, make sure that you get your first two done, right? Eat that frog. I've talked about that on a previous podcast. What's your 1A and 1B? Okay, well, then I did that. But here's the problem. 1A and 1B, they were too big. They would take hours to do. I didn't have hours on top of my regular day job, just like you don't have hours on top of your regular day job. But I have done podcasts before on how to find that missing 6 hours a day and then how to implement in 2 30-minute chunks per day. So again, go back, listen to the previous Mindset and Motivation Monday. They're not just about motivation. It's actually getting in the right mindset to do what you know you can do in order to reach your true potential. So please do follow these. I'm telling you, it's so important to me. It really is, because I'm at the point now where, sure, this is what I do. I will always love helping people achieve their wellness, their weight loss, and their anti-aging goals. I love it, but I also want to achieve them. I want them to help them to achieve everything else that they want in their life as well. Right? I want their life to be full. I want to make sure that they've achieved their business, financial, career-based goals, their relationship goals, their spirituality-based goals. I want them to have a rich, full life. And you can't do that with a to-do list. A to-do list is good to have, but you can do much better. It's been a while now. It really has. I did this out of necessity. I created, instead of a to-do list, an actual calendar-based plan that I'm going to explain to you right now. And I did this probably around 2013. And that's because that was about a year or so after I opened my second location in Boston. We were doing about 1,000 appointments per month at each location, and things just became totally overwhelming, right? I had over 24 different employees, therapists, trainers, nutritionists, you name it. And we were seeing so many people from around Boston. People would fly in for, we would do microscopy, we would do functional medicine testing. Then, of course, we could do virtual appointments after that if they needed to. But 2013, there wasn't a whole lot of virtual consultations going on. And my calendar my to-do list was packed, and so was my calendar. So I started to do this, and I really want to share this with you because the reason why I'm doing this, all right, first week of December, right? I'm going to do this right through the first half of January. If you implement these things, you will have a successful new year. And if you're listening to this in June of 2022 or August of 2030, it's okay. Start right away. Don't start for the new year. Don't wait for the new year. Begin right away, right? So here's what we want to do. To-do list has no deadline. It doesn't necessarily equate oftentimes time to a project. And for the most part, you are nothing's holding you accountable right there to get it done. So that's really an important thing to look at it. Here's what I do want you to do. I want you to begin to use a calendar, all right? So throw away your to-do list and only use calendars. But I need you to use this very specifically or it won't get done either. The nice thing is this is essentially free, right? I'm going to put 3 links today at episode 2031. So head on over to stevencabral.com/2031, and hopefully you can kind of follow along with what I use in my office. I literally talk about this, at least once a quarter when I talk about my 12-week year. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be talking about my 12-week year and the updates that I do to it every year, but please do follow that. Okay, so here's a brief description. If you want to get more done in literally 12 weeks or each week than you've ever done before in your life, you're going to want to follow this. So I use a calendar for absolutely everything. I don't use it just for work. A lot of people say, well, I'm home, I'm watching the kids, I'm dropping them off at school. They've got all these different practices and sports and music and extracurricular activities. After sports, you use it for all of it. And then you have, travel vacation. You got time away. You've got dinners out with people. Use it for all of it. Really, it's very, very important, okay? So here's exactly what I do, and that's because my personal time with my family and my 2 daughters is just as important, more important than anything else that I do. So that also gets scheduled, because if it's not scheduled, guess what? It doesn't get done. Something else runs into that time. So I make sure that I schedule my family time so that nothing else encroaches on that time. So I start with this, a big 12-month calendar. It is 2 feet wide by 3 feet long. And you might say, well, I don't want to put one in my wall in my house because it's an eyesore, it's whatever. That's fine. You can put it in your closet. You can put it on the back of a door. It doesn't matter. Just a place that you look at every single day. That's it. And here's why. You might say to yourself, well, I have a monthly calendar. Great. Monthly calendar is totally great. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. The problem is you can't look at the big picture. I need you to look at the big picture, because if you have big goals, you need to have a big picture. And big goals require more than a 30-day outlook, because in order to hit those big goals, they need to be chunked down by month by month by month. And I will share that with you with that 12-week year-based plan. So what I do is I have a 12-month calendar on my wall, and I fill out approximately the first half of that calendar. And I love doing it every single New Year. I already have my New Year's, excuse me. I already have my New Year's up there on the wall. I'm looking at it right now, right out of the corner of my eye. If you're watching this on video on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, head on over to YouTube. Just type in Steven Cabral with a PH. We'd love you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and the reason is this. We put out a lot of great exclusive content on YouTube, so definitely tune in and check it out. You can always go over to the personal website for these particular links. But when I look at that, I can put in all of my family's birthdays, all the important people's birthdays there. I can put in my work travel. I can put in my family travel. And that also gives me something to look forward to, because when you're putting work in every single day for your family and for yourself, you also want to be able to see all the nice rewards as well. Oh, I've got a nice vacation planned. I've got some downtime planned. You might have a massage plan. You might have a personal training appointment, whatever it is. Great. Put it up there on the calendar, okay? You work, you play, right? You got your work, you've got your family, you have all of those things that you want on there. That's really important. So you've got the 12-month calendar because you have big goals. Remember, that's why a to-do list doesn't work, because your 1A and 1B could be like, okay, again, like I can only talk for my world, so always bring it into your world. But we teach people how to become certified health coaches. And for level 1, it takes about 12 weeks. And for level 2, it takes about another 12 weeks. If people want to do it that quickly, they can do it that quickly. Some people take longer. That's okay, right? But your to-do list can't say become a certified health coach. It doesn't work that way, right? But what it can say is this: do lesson 1, do module 1, lesson 1 today. It's about 20 minutes long. You can do that in one day. Then what's tomorrow? Module 1, lesson 2. You can do that, right? So this is chunking it down. That's why you've got your big calendar, and you might say by March 31st, I am going to be level 1 certified as a health coach. Great. So that's now done. That's on the big calendar. But now what do you need to do? Well, you need to back out all of your lessons. And now on your monthly calendar, so yes, you can have a monthly calendar if you choose to. I don't have a monthly calendar. What I have is the big calendar, and then I'll get to the next part as well. So then on your monthly calendar, if you do want that, like in your kitchen where a lot of people do, okay, you've got your main things going on, your travel dates, your meetings, all of those different things, right? School events. Okay. But now on that calendar, what you can do is at the end of the month, what should you be? 30 days out, where should you be? Okay, well, each week you're going to finish, let's say, one module, or every other week, let's say you're going to finish one module. All you need to do is say, okay, module 1 complete by Friday, or by that Saturday or Sunday, whatever you want to do. The next week, module 2, so that you never fall too far behind. If you ever fall too far behind, you can see it, right? You need to see it happening. Now, even more importantly, here's what I do. So I've got the 12-month. Do the 1 month or not. It's up to you, okay? You've got your big 12 month if you want, but at the end of the week, you can still show, obviously, this is where you should be. But now you need your Google Calendar or your iCal. Choose any device you want, but it should be mobile, because I'm guaranteeing you have a laptop or a computer and you've got a phone. And now that becomes your to-do list, okay? So now your to-do list is your daily calendar. You might say, well, then what's the point? Because you could just have a to-do list. It's actually radically different. Radically different. Here's why. I changed over to this exclusively in 2013 from postcards and Post-it notes, which can get lost with whatever can happen to. But what I realized was I was becoming just too optimistic and aggressive with my to-do list. I couldn't get all those things done in a day. Now, when you use iCal especially, you can create blocks of time. And if your to-do list for the day does not fit in blocks of time on the day, you can't make it happen. So to me, I can't begin to tell you how much more relaxing each day is, how much more just chill the day is, because I'm like, I have to get all these things done by the end of the day. And no, you can't. You can only get done what's realistic to get done. Now, can you create better systems? Right, 100%, right? Can you create better systems to get more things done faster? Yes, because you don't always need to do every single thing every day. You can kind of chunk it out. Like, you don't need to look at your bills and write checks every single day, or mobile deposit, whatever it is. You can do it one day a week. Good. Now that's save you some time. So you can do all of these things. Do you really need to go to the dry cleaners 3 times a week? No, you can go once a week. And again, I'm kind of making exaggerations, but you can do those things to batch and chunk certain processes. I have a podcast on that as well. But the calendar literally allows me to go into my day. So now I set up meetings with different team members. I set up meetings with our health coaching team with Equal Life. I set up time to record my podcast. I set up time to spend family time with my 2 daughters to do specific things. I have dinners out on the calendar. But then if someone asks me to do something on a certain date, I say this. I either have to then bump something, right? So if someone wants to do a meeting, they want to go out, they want to whatever, or family, then I have to bump something. Right? But then that something still has to get done, most likely, because I'm not putting extraneous things on my calendar. So then it has to move to another day. Do you see how this is very different in time blocks rather than a to-do list? Because you know that you have to be realistic again with your time, and you allot it. So I have things from 15 minutes up to 90 minutes. And that's basically the largest thing. I have a longer 90-minute meeting once a week with my Equal Life management team. That's Mondays from 1:30 to 3 p.m. So that is a specific meeting that I really can't miss. I really can't. And only a very few times would I miss it. And then, of course, I have an amazing team, and my COO of that team can run that meeting. But that's my weekly kind of stand-up meeting. We're a completely virtual company. I don't want to miss it. So that one's really hard to move. So if someone asks me to do a 2 p.m. call or whatever's going on at that time, very few things are going to take that time. The only exception would be maybe a school event for my daughters, or there'd be some thing that's only happening that day that I have to be at, right? Some event, whatever it might be. Because besides that, that's taking precedence because it's only happening once a week at that time with these particular members. So really, really important. Now, the nice thing is this. When you look at a blank calendar, it is like a blank slate or a blank canvas. You get to fill your day. Now, you don't have to go wild and fill the whole thing, but I actually do. And the reason is that I will fill it in with free time. So it's important to actually schedule free time. And so that free time could be to take care of things that pop up, or if nothing popped up, well, you can actually go take a walk, take a breather, lay on your PEMF mat, whatever you want to do, call a friend. That's when a good time might be to go on social media, but schedule those things. I'm on social media essentially for a little block here, a little block there, a little block at night, done. That's it. So I still get to do those things, but I'm doing them during specific times. Now you might say, well, this sounds way too regimented. Here's the thing. I've heard this from many different people for a long time. Discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom, right? And if you're undisciplined, your life is chaotic. Sure, you get to do anything, anytime, whenever you want, but the thing is, you're always running around in circles trying to figure out what's going on next. If you have a scheduled calendar, you are much more at ease. You know what's coming next hour, and to be honest with you, you don't have to really worry about each day because it's already been planned. The day's already been planned. So on my calendar, from the morning when I'm spending that with my daughters, getting them up, having breakfast, to starting my first call in the morning, to then going through my day with all my different work, with podcasts, with writing, whatever it might be, meeting with team. Then after that is going to be my workout. Okay, so good. Now I get my workout in and I know, hey, before my workout, I'm making that smoothie. I'm doing exactly what I want. So that's scheduled in there for the exact amount of time that I need for also the commute to the gym, right? Because I need to actually get to the gym. Now my commute to the gym is just a walk, so it's easy. But still, that's all built into there because if my workout's 40 minutes, well, I want a 10-minute prep to the gym and then a 10-minute walk back. So good. So I get that hour in there. That's now scheduled, right? That is scheduled. Then after that, what is it? Well, it's family time. So that is basically put the phone away. That's dinner time. That's bedtime routine, everything. And then there's that time with my wife. So all of this is scheduled. And then the weekend's actually free. So that's not the time that I'm scheduling, except that there might be specific events. My daughters might have sports, or they might have sailing, or they might have something they enjoy doing. And great, I'm taking it to them to that as well. So if you do that, I'm telling you right now, you are going to take back your time, your freedom. You're going to be more disciplined. You are going to start to look at life very differently. When you do that, you're going to say, wow, I actually have more time than I thought. There's just I was always busy, but there was kind of a lot of wasted time. So here's what I want you to do. Get that big calendar. I'm going to link it up, 2131. I don't own any stake in this company. It's just a cheap calendar you can put on your wall. I think it's fantastic, and it works great. It looks great too. Then you can do the monthly calendar that a lot of people do with family photos, whatever it might be, fine. But then set up iCal. If you're on a Mac, on an iPhone, use iCal. You can drag appointments around. You can create time blocks. It's absolutely fantastic. And it allows you then to not worry about what am I doing next today? What am I supposed to be doing in order to achieve your goals, right? You've already done that. You've already done the work. You've done the pre-planning. Now you're simply following your calendar, not your to-do list, right? Because the calendar each day is dictating what you were doing when, and it allows you, again, a greater sense of freedom to be able to accomplish everything you want in the time that you realistically have. So hopefully today's show was helpful. Please do head on over to stevencabral.com/2131 for all of the different links. And of course, if this was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care, everyone. Thank you, as always, for tuning into today's Cabral Concept. I appreciate you. And as a valued listener, I want to make sure that you know about my favorite products, things that my family enjoys every single day. I try to introduce you to those, to functional medicine-based lab testing that you can do right at home, like I do for my children with food sensitivity tests, our minerals and metals tests, heavy metals, and so much more. But also, I like to share with you some of the fun things that we do as well. One of those is enjoying a superfood chocolate bar every now and again. My daughters love these superfood chocolate bars, and so does my wife. The nice thing is, these are just 90 calories, but what it does is it substitutes for some of that other dark chocolate or chocolate bars that you might be eating that don't necessarily contain all of the antioxidants and superfoods that you could be getting. So now you can actually satisfy that sweet tooth while doing something healthy for your body as well. And that is exactly why we formulated and created these superfood chocolate bars. And that's really what they are. They're a single serving, individually wrapped, so you can actually partition how many you're going to have. That enables you to get all of the healthy antioxidants of apples, chocolate, cherry, and raspberry. Really, it tastes like a cherry chocolate bar. Or raspberry chocolate bar, if that's something that you enjoy, we are giving them away right now for free. But not just one, we're giving the entire box away. So that means you get 9 superfood chocolate bars with all qualifying orders right now over at Equalife. If you've never tried them before, you absolutely have to check them out. So whether you buy them individually or you actually get a free box sent to you, we would love to do that. Head on over to StephenCabral.com/shop. StephenCabral.com/shop. That will take you right over to these superfood chocolate bar offer page, and you'll be able to see if you qualify for your free box. Thanks so much. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.